Hello and welcome, my name's Ryan, I'm also known as RM2K Dev. Today I want to show you guys how to use a Casio X Word. Now this is the XD-U8500 model. This is not the newest model, but it's also not one of the older black and white models. Now, the reason that I'm doing this video, I want to explain some of the features. I want to show you guys how to use this if you are studying Japanese and you don't know how to use one of these. So the reason I'm doing this video is because when I got this device, I was looking around on the internet for a guide on how to use it, and I couldn't find anything. There were two videos, or two series in particular. One was a guy who had recorded how to use an older Casio X Word. It was a black and white model, and the video was uploaded in 240p, so you couldn't really see the screen. There was camera lighting issues. And there was another guy who had an older model of this, which I got a lot of information from, but again, it was recorded on a cell phone camera or something like that, and so it was very hard to see what was going on and understand how it relates to a more modern version of the Casio X Word devices. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use it. We're going to go over some basic stuff like searching in English, searching in Japanese, how to search all the dictionaries, what some of these buttons mean, and just a few basics of settings in the device as well. So first things first, let's talk about the pros and cons of this device over a website like, say, gshow.org. I personally prefer to use a physical dictionary, a physical electronic dictionary like this, because although we have websites like gshow.org and, they're really great if you're sitting at the computer reading a manga and you've got Gshow open on your second screen or on your computer monitor, it's a little hard to use sometimes because you've got to stop what you're doing, put the book down, jump over onto the computer, start typing. And if you use it on your phone, what I find with my phone at least is I sit and I'll read for like an hour, and in that time with my phone on, constantly open, looking up websites, an hour of phone use, it drains my phone's battery life by like 40%. And I need my phone. I use my phone to make phone calls. So I can't sit down for an hour and waste 40% of my battery life because my phone is going to be dead, before the day's over, at lunchtime even. So that's one of the pros of having a device like this is it's offline, meaning you can take it anywhere. It's portable, meaning you can take it anywhere. It's convenient. You can type on it with one hand, and it has an insane battery life. This uses two AA batteries. AA batteries being a keyword, again, also a pro in my opinion, because you get 120 hours of battery life with this, and if you run out of power and you're out and about, you can always find AA batteries. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will find a AA battery for relatively cheap somewhere. So that's another reason that I like to use this device. In saying that, I guess there's also some cons to this device. One of the cons, I guess, is that it's not connected to the internet. So it doesn't have access to the infinite database of knowledge that being connected to the internet does, like your cell phone would. The other thing is also that there's no natural language processing. So on a website like gshow.org, you can go and you can type a sentence in, or you can copy paste from a website and put the sentence in, and it's going to parse the sentence for you. It will figure out the verb conjugations, it will figure out what you've typed in there, and it will split it up into chunks that you can then go and look at. You can click on the first word and you'll see, watashi. You click on the next word, you see wa. You click on that, it'll tell you that is the subject marker particle. It knows all of these things, and so it will process the language for you. A dictionary like this doesn't have any natural language processing features, meaning it's not perfect for an absolute beginner. You do need to know how to return from various verb conjugations into dictionary form. You do need to know a little bit about the slang that Japanese people use when they're reading when they're writing. So if you're reading a manga, there's a lot of slang. There's a lot of particles that end sentences, sentence-ending particles that really don't add any meaning to the sentence besides just emphasis or a negative kind of tone. And if you don't know how to read how to parse the language and extract that from the core vocabulary, the core words that you're trying to look up, you'll probably have a harder time using this. So I will say it's not for the absolute beginner, but definitely if you have started studying Japanese, if you've gone through, half of your Genki 1 book, or, you've got a little bit of understanding of how the sentences are put together, then this is a wonderful device to take out to use while you're reading manga. So those are the pros and cons in my opinion. I still think that these are worth having, that they're worth using. Personally, Personally, like I said, I love to take this thing, go and sit on the couch, take a manga, read, flip pages, and search with one hand. It's much easier for me to do that than it is to sit at the desk with my computer, with my manga in front of me, hunched over, trying to read. So those are the pros and cons. Let's get started on how you use the device. So the first thing I want to show you is sort of the layout of the device and the layout of the screen. So across the top here, we have different categories. And I'm not going to translate any of this. I'm just going to show you what the categories are. So we sort of have dictionaries for Japanese people. And then over here, we sort of have dictionaries for English speakers. So the first thing is this device has a really great English dictionary, the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. So if you want to look up English words, you can either tap on that or you can use the arrow keys left and right, select it, and then press the enter, which is the middle key. I'm sure you're able to figure that one out by yourselves, but you can come in here and you can search a word like hello, and it's going to come up, you know, with all the different meanings, and you can extract it and you can look at it, you know. And because this is focused for Japanese people learning English, you're able to you're able to preview the sounds as well. Now you might not be able to hear that through my microphone, but you're able to preview the sound. So you could look up in English and get English results. So that's searching in English for English. Let's go and search in Japanese, but get results in English. So I'm going to be using the Genius book. This is Genius. I think it's a brand of dictionary that's available. And what you're most concerned with up here is this top search box. This top search box is the hiragana, katakana, or kanji that you're searching for. So let's say we're searching for a word like genki. You can just go and type in genki like that, and it will automatically, really quickly pull up the genki, the kanji that represents it, and then the meaning. And you can click the OK button to get a little bit more information, or you can tap on the word itself and get a little bit more information. So you can use the touchscreen, or you can use the keypad controls. So up and down will show you a little bit more explanation, and this is really great if you're studying Japanese because it has example sentences of how to use genki in all sorts of different contexts here. Genki is just one word. We could also search for hikoki. This is taking from the explanation from another video, and again, different entries. You can just scroll through and you'll find that hikoki means aeroplane. So that's a good way to search. Now, the keys that I'm using as I go through this, the up, down, left, and right key is obviously for navigation. The middle key is obviously for selection. I'm using this button here, which has this kanji on it, which is modoru, which is to go back. So this is return. So that is your back button, essentially. So it doesn't matter where you are in the applications, you can always navigate back by using that button. Even if you're in menus, you can go back just by pressing that button. So that's how we search in Japanese for, it's how we search for a Japanese word and get an English result. Let's go back to our home screen, and then I'm just going to go over to our English dictionaries over here, or our dictionaries for English students. And there's other kinds of dictionaries in here. So let's pretend that you were searching for kanji this time. I'm going to open up the Japanese to English dictionary, and then this time on the left side of the screen we'll have all these menus, notes, we have a keyboard entry, and we also have this one here which basically just lets you draw on the screen. So if you tap on that, if you tap on that, it's going to open up this box. Now you can draw kanji on this screen here. Now I'm on a bit of a weird angle, so forgive the messy writing, but you could draw something like this. In, and then like that. And if you press this button here, it should translate that from what you drew into the kanji. Now, if you press the blue button up the top here, it's going to search for it, and you're going to find that that kanji that I just wrote was watakushi, or if we go down, watashi. And again, as you go up and down, you'll get different meanings of what that could mean. As we've moved down, we've got kanji where watashi was used in a word. So one's own proposal or one's own suggestion is shion. So we have watashi and we have another kanji here. So, you know, you can get, I can't remember the name for them, but vocabulary basically. But let's say we go in here, we found watashi, we found the kanji, and we found the meanings I, my, me, mine, myself. Let's open that up by clicking on it. Now what we can do is we can search any of the stuff on the screen right now to get a little bit more information on it. So here's a word that you probably know. This is, I think, Nihongo. So if I press jump, now I get a little cursor on the screen and we can navigate over to that. Now, if we just search for this one here, and I press on that, it's going to take us into some dictionaries, and we're going to get, you know, some words. So we've got Nihongo. So that's what's come up there, Nihongo, Japanese, the language. So we can navigate from within a search into another search to find out more information about what this word was. You can either do it like that and use the up and down buttons to find information that's relevant, or you can use the touch pen and you can click on the word. And in that case, then I just clicked on this, and it's taken me to Nichi, which is the kanji for day. But if I was to click and drag and select all three, it would take me to a definition for Nihongo. And if we scroll down, you'll see the Japanese language. So that's how you navigate from search results into more search results. Now, let's say, for instance, you're looking for a word, it's a little bit obscure, and you don't know what dictionary it should be in. This is where a function that allows you to search for through all of the content on this device comes into play. And it's this function here. It's just this top button here. It says Kantan Sachi, and that is basically easy search. Now, if you press that, you're going to go between two different modes. You're going to go between Kantan Searchi and then whatever this mode here is. I don't pretend to be able to read that good kanji, so I'm sure it's probably easy, but you know, you can look it up on the dictionary. But we're just going to use the easy search mode right now, and we have two search methods. We can search for Nihongo, which is Japanese language, or we can search for Alphabetto, which is alphabet. So if we searched for hello, what we're going to get is this will search all of our dictionaries. All the dictionaries are listed down the side here, and then we have different entries across all of them. So this is, you know, obviously, this is probably a good one here to have a look at. So we have all different meanings for the word hello. Now let's use a different word. Let's search for, I don't know, let's search for cake, for instance. There we go. So we have cake, we have a Japanese entry, keiki, and then we also have a Japanese, what do you call it, sorry? A Japanese description. So this is good if you want to learn more about a word in Japanese. As we scroll down, you'll find English definitions. There you go. Cake, a sweet food made of blah, 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 blah. So that's a good way to search for words that you don't know if they're in katakana or hiragana, and you don't know what dictionary they're contained within. You can search all of the dictionaries at once for a single word. Now that was a search for an English word. If you click on this, you can search in Japanese using the same way. And as we search for hikoki, it's already found it for us. Oh, sorry. There we go. So it's already found it for us, and we can find different different readings, different descriptions, all sorts of different stuff about it. So that's one way to search all of the dictionaries when you don't know what dictionary you're actually looking for. So we've gone over how to search in English, how to search in Japanese, how to search in kanji, and how to search through all of the dictionaries on the device. Let's go through some of the functions of the device. So I've shown you the jump button, which is janpu. I've shown you the return button, which is modoru. This button here is basically just sort of play sound. So if we search for genki again, and then we open that up, you can press this button here, which is going to turn us into sound mode. If there were multiple speakers on the page, you'd be able to navigate with the up, down, left, and right keys. But in this case, there's only the one. And if we press this button, you're going to hear it. I don't know if you can hear it through my microphone, but it's basically saying Genki. We have volume control here, which is just volume up and down. You can use, I don't think we can do it in this context, so you have to hold shift and then press up and down like that to adjust the volume. And that brings us to the shift function, which I just used. So this button is shifuto, so shift. That allows us, when you press this button, you can use the blue functions on the device. So I just used the up and down, which was volume up and down. So I press shift, press up, and it will allow me to turn the volume up or down on the device. So that's one way to access that function. In other places, you can use the touch screen, but that's just another way to use it. Let's talk a little bit about some of these buttons. So what we have are some shortcuts. These are just shortcuts to different dictionaries, and they have dual functions. If you press them once, you'll get one function. If you press it again, you'll get another dictionary. And some of these might be useful for you, others might not. I prefer just to stick them in that favorites list, and then I can recall my favorites at any time. Now, I don't particularly want this one here in my favorites, so I'm just going to delete it and select that, and that's going to remove it from my favorites. So that's how we got rid of that one. So some of these functions we have, these are just the bookmarks. That's the button for favorites or computer connection. So there's two different things here. The power button, which you'll recognize if you've studied kanji at all, you'll have this little electricity. I don't actually know what it means, but it's in anything to do with electricity. I think it's, I can't remember, sorry. We could look it up, but basically it's in everything. So you can click that and it's going to take you to power. Electric train has this in it. Thunderstorm has that in it. Just anything with electricity has that in it. It may even just mean electricity. We could look it up, but you know, that's your power button there. So power button, jump function, shift key, speech button, return button, volume up, volume down, hisutori. This is katakana. It means history. So if you are in a dictionary, say for instance you are in my favorite Genius dictionary, and then you press the history button, you're going to find out, you know, all the different searches that we've done. So that's your history. So if you've searched for something and you want to go back, that's a quick way to do it. Then we have this button here. This is menu and something else. So if we press that twice, I don't know what this means, but this is just functions of this device specifically. We have marker, we have notes, we have, I think these are bookmarks, and we also have flashcards on this device. So that's a way of getting between there. And menu takes us back to our overview and categories, where we can find all of our different contents that are on this device. So that's an overview of some of the buttons. You could also use these left and right keys to navigate through the menu items. That's a quick way of getting around as well. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing is settings. So there's some settings that you can do on this device. One of them is, say for instance, you wanted to adjust your backlight brightness. You press the shift key. So this function here has two purposes. Actually, that's another good point. Let me explain that one first. Let's say we're in a dictionary. We're going to open up this one. Let's search for Genki. This is your backspace key. All right, so by default, this is backspace. It's going to take away characters. Also, if you've already put a lot of text in and you want to, you know, completely erase it, you can just press the return key, and it's going to take you back to the beginning of this book where you can just type another one in like that very quickly to search. Way quicker, in my opinion, than using websites like Jisho. If you're reading manga, the faster you can search. If you're reading a book, actually, if you're reading anything, the faster you can look words up, the faster you're going to be able to study. So that's a really quick way of getting back and forth in this book that I like. Now, before we move on to settings, and again, sorry this video is so jumpy. It's all around the place. I haven't planned it. I'm just going through the functions. One more dictionary I want to show you is the katakana lookup dictionary. So if you go into this one here, you can look foreign words up in here. So like door for door. If you wanted to look up something like pen, you know, you just type it in. So if you're reading a manga, occasionally you'll come across some katakana and you just don't know what it means because they're loan words. They're not always English. They don't always sound like something in English. So this is a really quick way of looking those up, being able to find them. That is the katakana dictionary for foreign loan words. So now, the final thing I want to talk about is settings on this device. In order to get to settings, we have sete, which is this is the settings button, and it's blue. So by default, that's backspace. If we press shift, we get access to the blue function, which is settings. Now, in settings, we have a couple of things to do. The first ones are about sound, I think, sound and volume. The next one down, I don't know what that's about. The third one down is about your screen. You can adjust your screen brightness in here. This is brightness, that's the kanji for brightness. If you follow Heissig's Remembering the Kanji, you'll probably remember the mnemonic that there is nothing brighter than the sun and the moon shining together. So that's brightness. Adjust brightness there like that. This one here, I think this is on and off time. This one down here is main panel touch touch setting. So if you go in here, this is going to give you the option to recalibrate your touchscreen. And then this here is sub panel touchscreen calibration. So there's some options for you in how to use these settings. And again, I don't exactly know what all of the settings are, but those are the ones that I found and figured out how to use, at least to make this device usable for me. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show in this video. I wanted this to be relatively quickly for someone who has just picked one of these up. You can buy these on eBay. I would highly recommend getting one, regardless of what stage of Japanese you're at. If you can use this dictionary to look up words, it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier, especially if you're out and about and doing stuff, if you're not at the computer, if you're studying at a kitchen table. For me personally, I have a hard time focusing when I'm on the computer. I'll have Twitter popping up and Facebook popping up and mobile phones going off. So I like to take my study books and move away from the computer somewhere else to study. And this is a great way to do that, for me personally at least. You can buy these on eBay, as I said. This one, I think it was about $200. You can get more expensive and cheaper ones. I would recommend any. If you have the budget for a black and white screen secondhand model, anywhere from $50 to $150. If you have the budget for a color screen model, you know, anywhere from $150 to $250. That's great, secondhand. I wouldn't buy them new because the functions in here are for Japanese people learning English, so the new price is anywhere from $400 to $800, you know, depending on where you are in the world, where it's coming from, who's importing it, and what model it is. This is the 2014 model, a 2010 model, a 2006 model, a 2001 model. It doesn't matter. The dictionary is a dictionary. It's going to help you regardless of which one you have. And the functions are pretty much the same. So if you have a color screen model, all these buttons, this layout, very similar, makes sense. They haven't changed much in the way that it works. They just add more contents to the device. So you'll see this one has 150 contents. You'll find ones that have 100 contents. You'll find ones that have 200 contents, 500 contents, and you pay for the contents that are on the device. So that's basically a little overview of this device. The only other thing that I'm going to say before I let you guys go is use this device to figure out what this device does. So for instance, there's this kanji here, and we talked about this being the back button. You know, we don't know what this is. We only know that it's the back button because we've experimented. But what is that actually doing? We can look that up because this is a dictionary itself. So we have a kanji. We just go into, and again, apologies because I'm on the weird angle. I'm just going to try and draw it. And I'm guessing it's drawn like this. This is just a guess. Something like that, and then maybe a line, and then this, like that. And then if I press this, we don't get it. But you can click on it, and it's going to show you other options that it's kind of like. And the one that I was trying to draw was actually this one. So now that we've got that, we can press search. We can add to that. It's got do at the end, so we just add do, and there we go. We found the word modoru. And that's exactly what's written on this button, and it means to return to go back. We can open it up, to come back to 0, to return to 0, to go back to 0, to be back, to return. Exactly what this button does. So I would encourage you to go through and use the dictionary itself, now that you know how to search, to find out what the rest of these buttons mean. And that's exactly what I did once I figured out how the dictionary works, how to search in Japanese, how to search in English. Go through and look up each of these. And if you don't know what dictionary it's in, for instance, this here is hisutori. Let's pretend that it didn't sound like English and we didn't know what hisutori was. You could use the kantan Sachi, which is the easy search. You come in here, you type in hisutori, and then you use this button to get the little bit at the end, and you're going to find straight away it's automatically turned it into hiragana and, sorry, katakana, and we have hisutori on the screen right there. So it tells us that's history. You press that button, you're going to see the history of your searches. So I highly encourage you to go through, find out what all these buttons mean now that you know how to use your dictionary to search for Japanese and get English results. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and share it in all the Japanese places. Let people know about this device and how to use it, because I hope this video is the best resource on how to use one of these for all people. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and bye for now.